On September 10th, 2001, the United States Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld walked to a podium and said something that should have been impossible.
According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
$2.3 trillion. Not stolen exactly, just untraceable. The Pentagon's accounting systems were so fractured that vast amounts of public money vanished into the machinery, beyond audit, beyond accountability, beyond comprehension. September 11th. At 9:37 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 struck the west side of the Pentagon. Among the destroyed offices were those of the Defense Accounting Division, the very team assigned to track the missing trillions. It's a coincidence heavy enough to warp belief. Conspiracists would later claim the destruction was deliberate, an erasure of evidence. But the truth is quieter, more bureaucratic. The Pentagon had been losing itself long before that morning. The Pentagon runs on systems older than most of its employees. By the 1980s, its accounting structure had grown into a labyrinth of incompatible databases. Each branch, each contractor, each decade adding a new layer. A single fighter jet's cost could pass through 15 systems before reaching paper. No one could see the whole picture. Auditors tried to warn Congress. We cannot audit the Department of Defense because it cannot audit itself. But defense money is gravity. It pulls all attention inward. And Rumsfeld, when he took office in 2001, decided to make the system his battlefield. Rumsfeld wasn't confessing theft. He was declaring war on waste. He planned to tear down the Pentagon's bureaucracy, digitize its ledgers, and expose what he called the adversary within. He gave his project a name, the Revolution in Business Affairs. But history didn't give him the chance to finish it. The next morning, his war turned outward. When the fires cooled, the accounting files were gone. Investigators continued their work, but the country's focus had shifted. Billions flowed into the new wars: Afghanistan, Iraq, Homeland Security. Money became movement, contracts, reconstruction, privatization, security. The numbers multiplied and no one could trace their origin anymore. The $2.3 trillion wasn't lost overnight. It was absorbed into the fog of war, into the contracts of a global empire running at full speed. In 2018, the Pentagon finally attempted a full audit. It failed. In 2023, it failed again and again. Out of $3.8 trillion in assets, more than half couldn't be properly verified. No missing briefcases, no shadow cabals, just a machine too large to perceive itself. Every dollar accounted for by systems that can't speak to each other. Every failure swallowed by the next budget increase. 2 decades later, the number no longer matters. $2.3 trillion became myth, part of a constellation of figures too vast to comprehend. But myths have power. They remind us of scale, of blindness, of the strange human urge to measure the unmeasurable. In the end, the Pentagon didn't lose money. It lost orientation. An empire so vast it can no longer tell where its own shadow begins.